Hey everyone, it's Docfire, and I kind of want to do a video on ReBall versus regular paint. And if you're tuning or testing on ReBall, what is the velocity difference between the two? Because I do know that ReBall weighs, well, I'll put up the weight somewhere here in the video during this conversation. You'll see it up at the top here, comparative to regular paint. And so what I am using today is I have a really good bag of Nelson Anarchy. This stuff is like 10, 15 years old, and it is amazing paint. I mean, just like no joke, just beautiful paint. And then I have a fresh, brand new bag, never been shot, of the official ReBall. It had a big sale on it, and it happens to be orange. And what I'm going to do is I'm using a Scony Epsilon barrel for this, so it's a short insert, 3-inch insert. I tend to have really good consistent shots. I obviously, the ReBall is a little bit smaller, so I'm using the 675 insert for this, and the ReBall is a nice fit, nice blow through. And then in the for the Scony Epsilon paint, I'm using, it ends up being 688, if that number is even correct, and it's a nice, not a nice blow through, not, you know, not tight, not where I got to jam it through. So I think they're both fairly, you know, equal on that. Additionally, my Desert Fox, which has never been modified except for some America hoses on there, rag set below 300, because I'm trying 300 psi, IBG about 2 turns in for flush, which is all factory. I have 15 balls of Anarchy, and I'll take the first 10 shots. Let's say I probably should do 20. I'm not going to do 20. I'm going to do 10 each. Or I'll do 15 each, and I'll take the best. When I say the best, like if I first shot screwy, or if there's a whammy in there, then I'll take that out, and I'll take the best of the 10 out of that for both of them. And I got to shoot past my ReBall trap for this, and I'll be using the Radar Chrono, which I think these are, ooh, it's a little wet there. These are fairly accurate for what we're doing here. So you should be fine shooting past that, and hopefully I can record everything, but it'll get you an idea of kind of a percentage of velocity change between the two. So when you're setting the gun up, you can get pretty close to how it's going to run on paint. All right, so I know I need to, let's just go to town. I got to clear one out. There's nothing in there. Okay. Now, hopefully everything's going to be caught there. Remember, this needs to be about 1 inch from the tip of the barrel, straight up and down. Oh, I don't have that. Gotta have that on. No paint here yet. 302, 295, 288, 294, 291, 292, 309, 300, 299, 297, 294, 306, 299, 294, 300. Okay, that's all of them. So with this insert, it's a little larger insert where the seam of the ball was a little tighter than the other side. So I think we'll have a standard deviation. I think the ReBalls are probably a little more consistent, but I'm not looking for consistency. I'm looking for a velocity max and minus between the two. I'll take that insert out. We're going to put in this insert. Now I'm going to add about 15, or I'm going to add 15 ReBalls. And I'm going to try to make it in that thing. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 13, 14, 15. Okay, 15 ReBalls. I'm going to go down here. I'm just going to angle it a little bit. get this. There we go. Hopefully it might catch. It's not a big catch. I got to design something better for that. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get all this in. All right, let's get one in the chain. Oh, that on. Okay, should be one in there. 332, 332, 333, 334, 333, 334, 333. I don't know where that went. 332, 335, blank. 332, 333, 334, 335. 333, 336. All right. So you see the consistency of the ReBall just because the ball is round. So it's going to be very consistent, which kind of really shows you the quality of the setup on this gun, that everything's really working well together, and it's a very consistent shot to shot. So we were 330s the whole time, and I would say, well, I'll put the numbers up here and we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, we'll be back and with some more information on this in a few seconds. All right, we're back in from outside, and I calculated all the shots, and you can see here in column B is the Nelson. And I weighed the paintballs out. Now my scale isn't as fine. I can't find my really accurate scale, my Coke scale I call it. But the Nelson's about 3 grams and the ReBalls about 2 grams. I know the ReBalls are always lighter and stuff like that. So we're going to show our shot to shot. If you see, the ReBalls are very consistent. So if we look at let's go down to the bottom. Here's the average of these 15 shots. This is 297.5 feet per second, and this is 332.7 feet per second. The maximum was 309. The max for this was 336. The minimum was 288. The minimum on this was 322. I think that's right. No, that is wrong. This was supposed to be 332. That's a typo, because I remember there was 2. Okay, so the minimum should be 332. There we go. So then we have minimum, so we have standard deviation, and this is kind of the standard deviation. This had a 5.8 feet per second deviation out of these 15 shots, and this had a 1.2 deviation. So that's the deviation between shots. So the standard deviation of these 15 shots, or the spread, I guess. We used a barrel was a Sconi Epsilon. Let's do 14 inch. So I gotta do all that stuff. Sconi Epsilon 14 inch, which 3-inch inserts. The tank was pressurized to about 4,000 psi. It's a 68 cubic inch, and the output was around 800 psi. The marker was a Shawtech Desert Fox. The reg is set at 250 psi, and the IVG is about 1 1/8 turns, almost 2 turns in from flush. Temperature for the day was 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The barometric pressure was 30.16 inches. Clouds, it was cloudy. Dew point is 39, humidity 85, could have been rating. And my elevation is 25, almost 2,600 feet on that. And so when it come down here on the average, we took the average of the Nelson and the average of the ReBall, and we said, hey, what is the let's minus one from the other. So we have 35.8 feet per second, or 35.9 if you want to be that, so almost 36. But I'm going to say 35. I'm going to just I'm going to round down to 35, and so the ReBall shoots 35 feet per second faster than the Nelson. So if we go to my second chart here, so if we have a ReBall, if you're shooting ReBall and it's shooting 335 feet per second, then your paint is going to shoot approximately 300 and 334, 299. So we go all the way down to, let's say, We want to cross-reference. So we want a gun to be shooting around 285, and on paint, then we should be probably trying to reach that target of 320 feet per second on ReBall. Should be a good reach. If we want to be 280 feet per second on paint, then we need to be around 315. And then likewise, if we want to be shooting 300 on paint, we should be around 335 on ReBall. I always recommend that when you're teching guns, I recommend that you shoot for 300 feet per second output. That doesn't mean the person's going to be using 300 feet per second, because we know that a lot of fields are all the way down to 280, which is horrible, by the way. It's horrible to shoot 280 feet per second. It's garbage. But this is NXL limit, right? 300 feet per second. And so you never know if a person's going to play an event and be able to play at 300 feet per second. So you want to at least make sure their marker can get to 300 feet per second. Additionally, you want to make sure when you're teching it that you try to turn it down, however the customer is going to be turning that marker down, to make sure they can get down to 280 feet per second. So you want to make sure that they have this range. And I always say if you shoot for 300, usually you can drop it down to 280. And so that's my methodology on it, and I've been fairly successful on that. But I'll probably post this chart up probably on my Docfire Facebook page, and I'll make this a little chart here. But anyway, that's it. If you're shooting ReBall, you know, just be aware that you may be thinking you're shooting 280 feet per second, but then when you throw paint on it, it's actually less. So you want to, you know, think about that. I do recommend what you do if you are shooting ReBall is to get some good known paint and a known marker that's consistent. Size the paint to shoot whatever velocity you want, or whatever you want to tune at, and then drop ReBall in that gun and see where, and then make sure that ReBall is sized to the barrel. Try to use the same barrel, so use like a barrel kit, and try to size that ReBall so it fits the same in the insert, and then see how your ReBall does. Then mark the box of your ReBall and say, look, it's, you know, my increase in FPS is X, is, you know, 30, 35, whatever. But that'd be my recommendation. Anyway, thanks for viewing. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It does help. And everyone take care.